Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing great. So I know it's been a while since I have uploaded a long format video, but the reason behind that was I was busy with my exams, and now I'm happy to announce I have passed my MD in community medicine. So there's one particular topic which keeps popping up again and again in many queries by the residents, and especially the ones who've just newly joined their curriculum, and that is thesis. So while I have made a video about thesis previously, this time this video is going to be a little bit more detailed, more nuanced and polished, and it also comes with its experience of the last 3 years. So I'm going to break this topic down into 3 parts, where in this part I will be answering one of the most asked questions, which is how do I arrive at a research topic? And in the next following videos, I'll be discussing about how you can do your synopsis write-up and then go on for your data collection. So as I mentioned, this is one of the most frequently asked questions. But the question that I keep getting asked is, ma'am, kindly suggest me a few thesis topics. So while it's not really possible to generate thesis topic ideas and give it out to people, there are a lot of attributes that go behind it. It depends on a person to person, interest to interest, and somebody cannot just generate topic ideas for you and give it to you, which brings me to this video. Now, this thesis forms a very crucial part throughout your professional career. No, it's not just restricted to your MD exam or MD or MS exams, but it also plays a very important part in your practical examination, because you need to defend your thesis at that time. Even going forward, when you go for interviews, your thesis keeps coming up again and again in your entire professional life. So that is why the thesis that you do needs to be something which is very close to your heart and you are completely invested in it. That is how you will be confident enough to answer so many questions about it throughout your life. So while most part of this video is actually for all the PG residents, not just for community medicine, but no matter what branch you are in, some aspects would be particularly for community medicine because I come from that branch, so my perspective is a little bit from that side. So to begin with, step 1 is selecting your areas of interest. So no matter what branch you are in, there would be some aspect of that branch that you are really interested in a lot compared to the others. For example, when community medicine, now this has an advantage of covering so many range of topics within itself. So if you were somebody who was previously interested in OBGY or pediatrics, then you can choose a topic related to maternal and child health. If you were someone who was genuinely interested in psychiatry, you could choose a topic related to mental health. So PSM genuinely has a lot to offer when it comes to the range of topics under it. Another way to look at it is just open the PARC textbook or the textbook, whichever is the reference book in your field. Just open it up and just see the table of contents. See what topic interests you the most and narrow down on about 2 to 3 or even 4 such topics which you would be interested in. Now coming to step 2 is doing a thorough literature search. What I mean by this is studying various articles and various theses done previously, which could give you an idea about what you can pursue. Now, let's take for example, non-communicable diseases or diabetes. In that particularly was your area of interest, was one of your areas. Abhi, you know that you want to really pursue something in diabetes, but you don't know what, and you don't know, what exactly are things that you can study under diabetes. So what you can do is search about these things, and it will give it will give you the scope in the particular topic. So you can do maybe something like complications of diabetes mellitus, or you can study about self-care practices, and there's so much more that you can do. How you can get to the literature search is you can go on portals like PubMed, Google Scholar, or you can also go to libraries of universities. Like there is an RGUHS library which has a lot of thesis topics put up, and similarly there would be something like this for other universities as well. You can also check out the thesis done in your college in the past 5 to 10 years. When we joined our PG, our HOD sir told us to go through at least 5 to 10 theses done previously so that we get an idea about how to go about. So let's say some senior of yours has done a thesis about occupational hazards in cotton mill workers or XYZ factory. You get an idea कि तुम ये दूसरे segment of population में भी वो कर सकते हो. So you can also then choose some other occupation or some other field. If somebody has already done a topic about prevalence of a particular disease in X population, you can maybe get an idea about doing it in some other population. So going through these articles and going through these thesis topics gives you an idea कि how much is supposed to be studied in a thesis, what is the range of things that you have to include, what all can be included, how can you frame a particular research question, how can you frame your title. It gives you an idea about that. And also another source is going through websites which are which are allotted to conferences. So if there's an IAPSM conference or an IPHA conference, PreventCon, so you can go through their websites. When they're active, they also put up the research studies which will be presented in paper or in poster presentations in these conferences. So going through those lists, that also give you a rough idea. Now, what is presented there are usually shorter topics. For thesis, you need a longer topic. So you can maybe, get an idea about clubbing various interrelated topics as well through these websites. So basically, PubMed, Google Scholar, using Google, using the libraries, thesis done in your college, and as I mentioned, checking out various paper publications and poster and paper presentations being done. These give you an idea about the topics that can be covered. Now, once you are done with a literature search and you have a rough idea about what you want to do, let's say you found out that mental health is a good topic you want to explore, and let's say you want to explore about substance abuse in adolescents. Now, these examples are really short examples. In thesis you would need a longer study, obviously, but I'm just giving you a small example. Substance abuse in adolescents is what you came down to. Now, what you do next is you frame your research question. Now, what is a research question? It's basically a question that your research seeks to answer, and it forms the basis of your entire research that you conduct. So right from your materials and methods, how you will be conducting the study, how you will be collecting your data, who are your study participants, where is your study going to be conducted, what are the results that you are expecting, what are the questions that you will be asking to get those kind of results. Everything depends on this research question. That is why it needs to be very detailed, it needs to be very thorough. How do you arrive at this research question? You can use something called as a finer criteria. Now, F in it stands for feasible. Your study, first of all, needs to be feasible to do. That means you can conduct that study within the scope of resources that you have or you can easily find. Now, I'll give you an example of this. If you are somebody who is genuinely interested in carrying out a study in a population, but it is not accessible to you, they are very far away and you don't know how to travel to that place, you don't have a mode of transport, or it's very expensive to get there, then it won't make any sense and it won't be sustainable and feasible for you to do. Similarly, if you are planning to conduct a study which has a particular investigation which is very expensive and you don't know any laboratory in your hospital or anywhere near which will do it at a good price, so such studies will not be feasible for you in the longer run. So try to filter out कि तुमसे क्या possible होने वाला है and what is not going to be possible for you to conduct. Now, obviously, any thesis requires efforts to be put in, but you need to know कि what kind of efforts can you put in, what kind of efforts would you get support for, and only then proceed ahead for this. The I in finer criteria stands for interesting. So interesting is not just for you, but also to the field that you are contributing to. So it should be an interesting topic, it should be intriguing for your peers, for your colleagues, for the further researchers. The N stands for novel. Whatever research you conduct should be new, and or if not a completely new topic, there should be a new aspect that you are exploring, something new that you are adding. When you do these literature search, you also find out the research gaps. Sometimes at the end of the study, there are limitations of the study that you could not, the researchers in that study could not conduct so and so and they add that as their limitation. So that is an advantage that you have. Once you find out these research gaps, what was done in previous studies, what was left out, you can see तुम क्या कर सकते हो new add करने के लिए to your entire field. So your research topic should be novel, it should be something new, and one thing to keep in mind here is that if it's good to choose something novel, but also remember that when you write your thesis, there's something called as review of literature, where you need to add a lot of study references. So don't choose a topic which genuinely has no references for you, otherwise you will not be able to add anything in your write-up. So while it is good to take a new aspect or a new dimension of any study, or do it in a new population altogether or a new segment of people, I would also suggest check out if that particular topic has enough articles around it or has enough referencing for it which you can use in your write-up later on, or it would be a problem. Now the E stands for ethical. Your study needs to be ethical, which means it needs to comply with the ethical guidelines of your institutional ethics committee. Then there is also guidelines by ICMR if you are conducting, let's say, an intervention study. So based on a study to study, and how are you going to choose your study participants, consent taking, if you're doing any investigations on them, what are you doing, what kind of interventions are you planning to do in case of an RCT. All these matter, and your study needs to be ethically approved by your IEC of your college. So the next one is relevant. The R in fine art stands for relevant. Your study needs to be relevant for the current time and place, which means that choose a topic which is relevant to and will contribute to the field at this particular time. Let's say you choose a study of any particular disease, but that's already been eliminated from your area and eradicated, or it could be eradicated completely. In that case, you will not find the sample size. If somebody was planning to do a study based on COVID-19 back in 2020 or 21, it made sense. But to do a study of COVID-19 among COVID-19 patients as of now will not make any sense. Of course, if you're studying something which is like follow-up, or if you are checking for some post-disease complications, etc., that's a different story. Then also, it should be relevant in terms of if you plan to include any national programs. So what are the current national programs? Have they been revised? What are the current strategies? So it needs to be relevant as per that as well. So stay updated, check the latest things, and only then proceed ahead. So now that you followed the final criteria, you will get a rough idea about what you are studying. Since you already have checked for the relevance, you have checked how interesting or novel your particular topic is. Once you're done with that, you will then also come to know who your study population will be, and who you are planning to conduct the study in. Will it be pregnant women? Will it be adolescents? Will it be geriatric population? Will it be patients of any particular disease? You will get an idea about that as well. You will also then get an idea about your study area. Are you planning to do a community-based study or a hospital-based study? What is more feasible for you? Where will you get more sample size? Where can you cover more people? You will get an idea about that as well. Let's say it's a community or a hospital-based study. In that, where are you going to select your participants from? So when you follow this criteria, you get an answer to all of these questions, which then get you to your research question. Now I will take one of the studies that I did, for example. Now this was not a thesis topic, this was a paper publication that I did, but it would be helpful for you to understand. So what I did is I checked for internet addiction and its effect on sleep quality among undergraduate medical students. Now my topic was, the name of my topic was Internet Addiction and its Effect on Sleep Quality, a cross-sectional study among undergraduate medical students in Central India. Now, let me break this down for you. What I did is I checked for internet addiction. Then I checked if there is any effect of internet addiction on sleep quality. Then my population was undergraduate medical students. My study design was a cross-sectional study. Your study design will be based upon what are you studying. So you will have to come up, you will get the answer to what is an appropriate study design when you're doing your literature search. So don't worry about that. So in this title, the research question is, what is the prevalence of internet addiction in my study, and what is the effect of internet addiction on sleep quality among the undergraduate medical students? That was my research question, and my entire the entire article then went on to work towards this research question. So then my questions were based upon what is the prevalence of internet addiction, because I used a scale. My questions was also assessing the sleep quality, because I was studying the impact on sleep quality. So that's how you build your chain of thoughts. Now post this, when you have all this set, you can then go on to do another literature search. In this, what you are doing is you are basically just going to be looking for various articles related to your study so that you can keep them downloaded. You can go through them to also learn about how to frame your materials and methods. Once you have a rough idea about your research title, about the materials and methods, which basically include study design, study area, inclusion, exclusion, who are you including in the study, who are you not. Ye sabka idea you will get when you do your second literature search after you have framed your research question. Now when you do the second literature search, something that will really help you is something called as Boolean search. Now there are some operators, Boolean operators like and, or, not, which help you include articles, exclude articles, narrow down or broaden the scope of articles that you search for. Now let's take and for example. You want to conduct a study about substance abuse in a particular age group, let's say adolescents. So what you will put in, let's say a PubMed website, is you put substance abuse and adolescents. Now what this will do is this will filter out all the articles related to substance abuse and some other population, and it will give you results only for the population you asked for. Isme bhi, if you then want to study articles research done only in India, you will put substance abuse and adolescents and India, or you will put substance abuse and adolescents and school. That's how you will then again narrow down to more articles very particularly for your area. But let's say you want to broaden and you still want to check for, you want to keep your options open and you want to see where all you can conduct the study. So then you will put something like substance abuse and adolescents or X disease or X population. So the or helps you broaden your scope. Then it will generate more results for you and give you more ideas. Now again, this is just a very, very small example, and a thesis topic is going to be much more than only this. But I hope this will help you understand the concept of Boolean operators. So and, or, not, you can use them when you are searching for articles on Google Scholar or PubMed. So once you're done with this and once you have studied and gone through the materials and methods, I would suggest make a small document which has about 10 to 15 articles, 10 to 15 topics of your choice narrowed down. Write them down or type them down. Write the materials and methods part very shortly, like write your study population, inclusion, exclusion, study area, study design. If you are checking for assessing any particular health condition, then on what basis are you doing it? Are you using any scale or are you using any particular criteria or any investigation? Write down how you will be assessing that as well, and take these 10-15 ideas to your guide. That's the step 5. Your guide will help filter out what topics work, what topics don't work. Now again, you are very, very new to this, so you will have much less experience compared to your guide. So she or he would be better to suggest कि ये चीज़ is not worth a thesis. You can maybe publish this as an article later on, present this in any conference. Sometimes they could help add something to your existing topic and tell you to broaden it in some manner. Sometimes they might be very happy with a particular topic and ask you to enhance it. It's all okay. But like taking 10 to 15 articles help, because most times with most PGs, 15 में से 10 to 11 articles always get rejected, and it's very, very natural because we are very new and very unexperienced to do this. So you then come down to 4 to 5 topics. Step 6 is acting upon the inputs given by your guide. Based on what he or she says, then also start seeing if the changes that they suggested can be incorporated, and if you can be able to do that. A lot of times guide will tell you to do a particular topic, but if you think it's not going to be feasible or it won't be possible for you or will be too hectic, you always have the option to politely discuss this with them and see what middle ground you both can work on. And once you're done with that, you will have about 4 to 5 topics which you'll be working towards. Now in my college we had this entire 5 topic, 2 topic and then 1 topic presentation, but it varies from college to college. So depending on how your college works, what you can do is if you don't have such presentations, narrow down from the 5 topic to a 2 topic yourself, discussing with your guides, and also assessing what kind of articles and what kind of work will you've got already, what work will go into it. And then finally narrow down to 1 last topic. Now this topic will be your final topic. There could be no changes in it later on. So be very, very, very particular and be very stringent when you are filtering it out to that 1 last topic. Always remember, it takes a lot of time and efforts to come down to that 1 topic. But again, this topic will stay with you forever. So choose very wisely. So let's summarize it. First, choose your areas of interest. Second, in those areas of interest, to know what you want to pursue, do a literature search and get a rough idea. Third, frame your research question based on the final criteria. Once you're done with that, go again and do another literature search and get an idea about how to conduct that study for the topic that you have chosen. Step 5, go and discuss with your guide about these topics. Step 6, make modifications as per what your guide suggests, and then narrow down to 5, 2, and then finally that one topic. Now, I know this could be overwhelming for a lot of you, but don't worry, you will get there. Literally everyone in MDMS or DNB does their dissertation, so it's really not rocket science. It just takes you a little bit of efforts and time to reach to that point, but everyone gets there. Don't worry, you will get there as well, step by step. Now, if you found this video informative, like this video, share this among more and more PG residents, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel.